Hi guys, welcome back to another video this week. I'm glad you're back for a brand new recipe. Have you guys noticed that we're almost to 1,000 subscribers? So if you don't mind, click that subscription button so we can get to 1K really soon. I know we can make it, we're almost there. For this week's recipe, we're going to be making chicken flautas or chicken taquitos, depending on where you're from. You might have a different name for it. It's pretty much the same recipe that we already have on our channel for potato flautas, except for this time we're going to be using chicken. I'm also going to be showing you how to make a delicious salsa, so stay tuned for that as well. For this week's ingredients, we're going to be using 2 large chicken breasts, a little bit of salt, half an onion and 2 garlic cloves, about a handful of chile de árbol, 5 serrano peppers, a little bunch of cilantro. For toppings, we're going to be using iceberg lettuce, avocado, six tomatoes. I'm going to be using half of them for salsa. The other half I'm going to be using it as a topping. And your favorite cheese. Remember that we have a recipe for how to make our queso fresco, if you want to check out that video as well. Sour cream, tortillas. On a large pot with water, we're going to add our 2 chicken breasts, the onion. Remember the onion, I like to use a piece of onion that holds everything together. That way it's easier for me to remove the onion at the end. A piece of garlic clove and salt to your taste. We're going to cover this and put this on medium heat until the chicken is cooked. While that is happening, I'm going to show you how I chop my lettuce. How I slice my iceberg lettuce is I start in one end and start chopping very finely, and then I turn the other way where it's a smaller section. I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but pretty much you just want to rotate your lettuce so you won't get all these big strings. Rotate it to the side where it's the shortest, and then keep chopping. And at the end, you'll be left with this good shredded lettuce. After about 20 minutes, I'm going to be checking on my chicken. Remember, I always like to cut the biggest part of the chicken breast in half just to make sure that there is no pink. If there is still pink, we want to put it back for another 10-15 minutes, depending on how pink it is. As you can see, there is no pink, so my chicken is ready. I'm going to remove it from the water, putting it into a plate, and then waiting for it to cool down so we can shred the chicken. I have not turned off the stove. I'm going to be cooking my tomatoes and chiles for my salsa here. You can also cook it separately on a separate pot with water, but since I'm not going to be using this chicken broth, might as well just use it, get a little bit of that flavor in my tomatoes for the salsa as well. I'm gonna be putting my serranos, chile de árbol, tomatillos, and tomatoes in here, covering this up until it all softens up. About 5 minutes later of this boiling, my tomatoes and tomatillos are not ready. I'm going to remove them from the water. As you can see, my tomato skin have already started to peel, so that's when you know they're ready. We're going to remove them from the water. The chiles still have a little bit more to go, so I'm going to be covering this up for another 5 minutes. In the meanwhile, I'm going to be shredding my chicken. What I first did, I started with the big chicken breast. I cut them into smaller sizes and then let this cool down. After this is half cooled down, I'm going to be shredding it like this until all of my chicken is completely shredded. Now that we have our shredded chicken, let's go back to our chiles. My chiles are not ready, so I'm going to remove them from the stove and turn off my stove. And we're going to go ahead and make our salsa. In a blender, we're going to be adding a little bunch of cilantro, onion and garlic, about 1 teaspoon of chicken flavor bouillon, or you can use salt. And we're also going to be adding our serrano peppers, tomatillos, and the chile de árbol. Now all of it did not fit on my blender, so what I did is I blended this first. After this was blended, I'm going to add my tomatoes. Blend this really good, and this is the end result for our salsa. It's a spicy salsa, so make sure if you don't like a lot of spicy, don't add a lot of chile de árbol, because that's what's going to give it the spiciness. And the serrano peppers, I would suggest using jalapenos, and about 1 to 2 chile de árboles. Now that my salsa is ready, we're going to go ahead and make our flautas. I'm only going to be making 4 flautas because it's really late at night, so I'm going to be eating this, sharing it with my boyfriend. I microwave my tortillas for about 30 seconds. I cover them with a piece of napkin. As you can see, they're very flexible. They're not breaking when I fold them. So I'm going to grab a little bit of chicken, find where the middle is, and then put the chicken on one side. Get one side of the tortilla and start rolling. Tuck in all your chicken. Make sure they're very nice and tucked in, and then start rolling. As you can see, it does not fall apart if you fold it correctly, if you tuck it in really good. If you feel more comfortable with using toothpicks, you can use toothpicks, or you can use, I've heard people use spaghetti as well. So whichever one you want to do. We're going to start off and do all of our taquitos like this. add our chicken to one side of the tortilla, tuck really good, roll until we're all done. Like I said, I'm only going to be using 4. So I have my 4 ready. On a pan, we're going to add a little bit of oil. Yes, this pan was already previously used. I don't like to throw away the oil that is still usable. I keep this oil just to fry stuff up, but whenever it gets too burnt, I go ahead and throw that away. I have heard that if you use toothpicks in there and you let them fry first, it stops the oil from burning. So that's one theory that we're going to test today. I'm going to drop 3 toothpicks in here, and I'm also going to add my flautas. Now, this is a big pan for my flautas, but I'm going to be using it anyways. Just make sure that your flautas are where the oil is and it's directly under the heat. We're going to start flipping them every once in a while. When you see that they're starting to get crispy, turn them from all 4 sides. Sometimes it's 3 sides, depending on how crispy you like them. Once they're ready, remove them from the heat and add it to a plate. Now that we have our flautas ready, we're going to start with topping them off. So we're going to start off by topping our flautas with a little bit of sour cream. Make sure you get it nice and covered. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Add some more. Add a little bit of lettuce in the middle. Top it off with some sliced tomatoes, sliced avocados. Add your desired salsa on top. And then lastly, we're going to shred some cheese on here. Here's the cheese that I'm going to be using. If I don't make my own cheese, this is the cheese that I go for. It's El Mexicano Panela. I forgot to show you guys how the salsa turned out. This is me just doing little scoops of salsa. It's a remix of salsa. This salsa reminds me of Bird Martinez. She also makes cooking recipes here on YouTube, so if you guys want to check her out, her name is Cooking with Bird Martinez. But this salsa reminds me of her. It's a very good salsa, so I would highly suggest looking at her channel. You can add as much or less as you want. It doesn't have to be in a specific order. I just like to do it like this. So the sour cream, it kind of acts like glue with the lettuce, so it won't go all over the place. Same with the salsa, it kind of acts like glue with the cheese. But you can do it however you want. And this is the end result for our chicken flautas. They are very crispy and it has all the right ingredients on here. When you're cooking your chicken, if you want a little bit more flavor with your chicken, you can add a bay leaf or a piece of mint. Mint is very strong, so make sure that you only add a little bit if you want a little bit of that extra flavor in there. I usually add mint on here, but I did not have mint on hand. I thought I did, I didn't. But I would normally add just a little piece of mint. That's also used for caldo whenever you're making caldo. If you add a little piece of mint on there, it's gonna give it this nice and refreshing flavor. But this flautas turned out really good. And this is it for today's video. Don't forget to comment down below what other recipe you want me to make next. Subscribe to our channel so you can be part of our family. Remember, we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Turn on the notification bell so you can be notified every time that we upload a video. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Share with your friends if you loved it. And we'll see you next week with a brand new recipe. Bye!